to the top lane.
Yeah, Team Solo Mid starting the swap again against Stakey on Aurelia. Didn't get the freeze early on. They were sitting on a camp for them. I think they got just a small crook there.
I think they were anticipating the lane swap coming in because this situation, just based on what we saw last game, Stake was able to do a lot with just a little. He was able to farm over at the tier 2. And in this situation as well, you have that preferable matchup, the Lucian into the Corki, where you can harass pre-6. So this is going to let NL kind of have a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, so the wave is pushing down for Team Solo Mid on this top side here against Stake. He's only level 1, he's not been doing double jungle, no camp obviously for him either. This means Santorin can go towards his lane once the wave hits the tower and dive Stake, or at least force him away, like we saw Team Solo Mid do in the last game. And the difference here for the Yori Flash Wolves is that Corki doesn't have the same tower pushing power before he gets the Trinity Force as a Lucian. So what they did in the last game, they sacrificed Stake, but they fast pushed with Never Lose on Lucian there and got a lot of towers, and you got an early BF sword, which makes him very strong compared to a Corki when he needs that Trinity Force fully completed. So they won't have the same early push from the Yori Flash Wolves, or at least not the same effect. And that's also why they decided to swap Sword Art up in this top lane here to make sure Stake gets the big wave, no dive from Team Solo Mid, and obviously no fast push in the bottom lane either from the Yori Flash Wolves.
And also just hitting it exactly that perfect timing. You saw the setup, Stake walking out, just getting that ward in the river, making sure he would know if Santorin or Bjergsen left to come out in that situation. Bjergsen on the tough end of some trades right now with Maple.
Yeah, and we also see Stake has 9 times the CS that he had 8 minutes in game number 1. So it's definitely going a little bit better for him this time around in terms of the farm game. Dyrus only sat on 6 at this point. Stake going to have a bit more farm funnel towards him, but takes a lot of damage every time he goes out from that one. The presence of Sword Art is going to help him out there a little though.
And that is still a problem for Stake here. Yes, he can get the experience and will get some of the farm, but Lulu Lucian is such a fantastic lane and just harassing that top laner. And obviously the Janna won't really add too much pressure in the lane itself. So Team Solo Mid will still be able to deny Stake quite a lot of farm. And because he's now sharing XP with Sword Art, Dyrus is going to get pretty far ahead of him with this Lissandra, because he's sitting in a one-on-one and he's a ranged champion who can very easily wave clear and hold his own against Never Lose.
Here we go, Never Lose just putting down some damage right there. Dyrus checking for him, but that's the other thing is the Corki is one of the best champions just to have levels on as well. So having that solo experience doesn't go to waste, and Karsa looking for an angle right here. So get it.
This could be interesting. He's going to try the bait there with the back, and Dyrus, funnily enough, turned around at a perfect time there. I think Karsa thought with that it was actually warded then, which wasn't actually the case for him, but Karsa will get back on route, get some more farm and try and get up to that level 6 point as quickly as possible where he can make a bigger impact on the game.
And it's just fun to see again how Yori Flash Wolves, they focus so much on the AD carry in these lane swaps here. They give their Corki the level advantage, say you're going to get your Trinity Force, you're going to get level 9, maybe level 11, and then we start grouping up as a team where you are that much stronger than your enemy AD carry, and that again sacrifices Stake just a little bit, but he's doing a good job farming because Sword Art is here to help him. He just won't really be able to keep up in terms of levels compared to Dyrus.
Yeah, no early Rengar ganks yet. No real opportunity here in the bottom side. So Karsa just going to try and power farm his way up to level 6 right now. And again, you know, Maple really has done a good job over the course of this series laning against Bjergsen. We haven't seen him really fall behind whatsoever. He's matched strength for strength.
And I just don't understand why Santorin hasn't done anything on the map beforehand. This mid lane here, yes, he was pushing early on. He's there now, but you know that Rengar won't offer anything in terms of mid lane ganks, and the counter gank from Karsa as well requires Team Solo Mid to move close to a bush before he can really jump in there and be impactful before level 6. So I feel like Mabel should have been pressured a lot more by Santorin here early on. Instead, he's looking for that top lane.
Oh, Bjergsen actually going to take a decent chunk of damage here, and rightly said there, Monty. I mean, Maple has definitely held his own in this matchup so far. We see there Karsa and Sword are actually moving down towards this bottom lane. They look like they're going to try and dive Dyrus. Oh, it's a good ward in there. That will spot them coming, but can they react to this one quick enough?
He got level 6 now, though, so it's very risky diving him with his ulti up. Dyrus still staying on the tower. You can see the Flash Wolves. They're moving away. And look at Maple here. He's going Codex as the first item. He's not been pressured in that lane, so it doesn't feel like he needs an early arm guard. And suddenly, this LeBlanc player can worked for him. He was obviously very confident about the matchup itself and didn't feel like he had to go for that early on guard, so we'll still have that mid-game spike.
And look at this, just trading the top lane turret for that dragon. Of course, Dyrus has gotten a big edge in farm down on the bottom side of the map, farming very successfully under turret. This is a bit risky. He's caught behind a little bit.
Oh, and actually forced to flash there. Very, very dangerous stuff. And surprised that it even came to that, to be honest, that he was pushed that far up, but so is it. As the Flash Wolves pick up their first dragon. Here, finally, we see Santorin come around. It's, funnily enough, not for Maple. It was Stake that was in that mid lane. And he was also forced to use a flash. So last couple of ganks resulted in some summoners going down.
So what Dyrus tried to do before was push out this bottom lane and buy time for Turtle and Lost Boy to recall from the top side and come down and defend this tower here. It's working for him. So he got the wave pushed out. The second one here, yes, okay, he had to blow the flash, but the only thing he wanted to do was just make sure that tower stayed as healthy as possible. Because you know after the Lucian and Lula has been fast pushing the top side, they can now swap down here and you have a tower advantage in this lane swap.
Thing is, Stake has actually made really good use of that time too, because he was able to cover mid. Now because Lissandra was delayed down there in the bottom lane and the late swap coming in due to the tower kill, it's going to get shoved right back into the tower so Stake can reverse the wave.
Yeah, still at least for Dyrus. He will get more farm. He's already level 7 to 6 of Stake. He's not in too bad of a spot. He also wants to save that teleport. We know how strong Alessandra TP is down towards the bottom lane in case there any ganks happen. Because obviously now you're waiting for... Well, we're waiting to see what Bjergsen will do in this trade. He's going in.
Oh, he's took a tower hit there as Maple. Don't think the Deathmark's got quite enough damage for the Shuriken from the side. Really well played that by Bjergsen. Maybe a misplay from Maple's side as well.
Maple got greedy. He thought he had the better end of the trade right there. He wanted that summoner spell advantage to come back and finish off Bjergsen on the next go around. Could have easily flashed out of that.
And he'd already used his chains twice, which is only rank 1 at this point here, so didn't really have too much damage on Bjergsen itself. Was just trying again, as you said, bait out that summoner.
Because he knew.
Backfired for him.
Especially since Karsa was about to hit 6. If he got that flash out, that was Bjergsen dead. And it may still be, actually, because he will come back into lane, and they will still have that summoner spell advantage.
Constant just needs to be careful. You got to respect that Lissandra TP coming down. If you see a Ringar coming in, you often have enough time to set up a counter gank with your TP. Still haven't seen much from Santorin on this Lee Sin. Just been a farm fest for the two junglers, honestly. It's been Wild Turtle and Lost Boy on their own pushing in the top wave. And obviously the first dragon gone over to Flash Wolves as well.
Well, if we look at the gold at this point, TSM certainly holding strong on that front as Wild Turtle will blast NL. It's a good amount of damage and actually forced the Valkyrie out of him. Forced him to drop back a little bit in that lane. Maple, in the meantime, started to wander over towards the top side of the map, but I think he's thought better of that one as well. And now we're going to see what Karsa can do. Level 6 now. What's his priority going to be?
He's just stacking up his charges here, so we throw the E at the Raptor camp. Gets to spot a ward, however, and therefore knows that gang is not exactly going to work for him right now. But Bjergsen with that first blood. Cutlass and Brutalizer already. His damage is insane. That Cutlass early, the 100 magic damage, it's more than people expect when it comes to like the all-in potential with a death mark.
Well, it's 100.
That's very true, Jim. Well, I guess that was basically it. There's all-in potential from Bjergsen, 100 magic damage.
Let's see if Karsa gets lured into that one. He's on the top side of his jungle. Actually, NL taking a lot of damage, and Santorin says, right, I'm on the map now, guys, and he manages to get the first kill for him. Second one should drop here for Wild Turtle, spreading them between the players, and, well, really nicely done. Too far up lane there, though, Flash Wolves, with such little health.
And well, let's see what happens here, though, Dyrus.
Well, first of all, he's going to go low. Stake actually TPing in, but...
cancel.
Yeah, probably should have cancelled it there.
And down the bottom lane here, I think Neverloose was trying to flash a Sonic wave from Santorin coming in. But as soon as that one connected, I mean, you don't flash. You know you're going to die no matter what. Just save it for next time.
And TSM, too, with the wards right around the back of the Dragon Pit right there. A little bit under warding, and here we go. Karsa comes in.
Yeah, Bjergsen's reactions, though. far too quick for him there. Dyrus actually did just come down from this, but again, not exactly making a big impact, but it's at least enough to force those two players from the Wolves away.
Yeah, we talked about the Lissandra TP coming in as a counter gank to the Rengar. I think Bjergsen was fine on his own, however. Karlsson has to back away, so it will be quite a while before the ulti is ready for him again. And that opens up now for Team Solomid to get some deep wards in the jungle, because you know the Rengar won't be able to duel you. You have the Lee Sin, and of course the Zed has been so strong, and your Lissandra down here. So I like this move. Get these deep wards in so you can spot the Rengar next time he's trying to set up a gank.
Yeah, Dyrus trying to make a play on the map right now while he's waiting for the wave to push forward, and NL maybe getting caught out.
No flash.
Yeah, he's probably going to go down in this one, isn't he? I mean, half HP, the Monsoon keeping him alive. They're turning it around with Karsa. Now they've got Wild Turtle coming in. He will flash to the back. They pick up that kill, but it looks like Wild Turtle could be in trouble as Maple misses pretty much everything when he comes around the corner. Karsa going low. Maple has got no mana at this point. Or is he going to be able to finish him? A wild growth from Lustboy, who's now tanking up the turret. He has to flash away, and Maple still not got the mana to do anything. Wild Turtle turns around and gets himself a killing spree. And the Flash Wolves so close to getting kills there, but somehow so far, and he gets turned around on them.
Well, I mean, they really paid for it right there with the lack of flash and the lack of TP on stake that they kind of threw away earlier in this match. They could have had a very good advantage, but instead also a little bit of mix-up in the target selection over the course of that fight. And we did see Maple kind of W back. There was not good communication between him and Sword Art right there, that Maple wasn't continuing forward because Sword Art should have fallen back at the same time.
That was also some great kiting though by Team Solomid. Wild Turtle and Lost Boy running through the tower, flashing out, and then in the very end, getting another kill onto the Janna from Team Solomid. Should be a dragon as well. Let's see here. Karsa is coming. He has no ulti, just in for a few more seconds, but Maple is very far away. Team Solomid setting up for this one.
Yeah, they have the top lane pushed and the mid lane pushed as well, so Bjergsen getting a bunch of auto attacks down onto that tower. Santorin with some deeper wards behind the pit right now, and TSM setting up that vision control quite well. It looks like they want to go for the mid lane turret first if possible, thereby giving them even more pressure to exert on this dragon wave, also pushing back towards the top lane tower of the Yowie Flash Wolves.
Last second annoying Janna shield, and actually a bit of a dive in there from Maple as well. We brought Dyrus to half HP, but they lose that middle turret, and now TSM starting to collapse down towards the dragon. And look at that, they've got vision of Karsa. That makes the dragon even easier.
Yeah, there's great control by Team Solomid here, setting up the waves first. It was Bjergsen who pushed that top lane all the way in before he roamed to the mid lane, got the tower for himself. And obviously he's not really afraid of anyone at this point. Arm Guard is completed for Maple now. We'll get Morello and Normicon before an Hourglass is completed. Already died once though in this lane. Well, he got a little bit greedy and Bjergsen punished him.
We're not seeing the same level of skirmish player map control from Yowie this time. They have slipped up a bit in their warding, falling behind especially on that latest dragon attempt. And they're not taking anything either. Yeah, wow, that is an early Sork shoes as well onto NL, getting it before he actually finishes his Trinity Force, something we almost never see.
I don't think that's very smart. You really need to get that Trinity Force as early as possible.
Well, that will delay him for just a little while. Let's see, blue buff going to be given to Bjergsen. He comes trotting around that corner, and actually a ping onto the bottom turret here as NL and Sword Art are going to be pushing that wave out, but Bjergsen should be able to just clear that one straight away. And he shouldn't get too much damage down onto this tower. And Bjergsen, with that Blade of the Ruin King Brutalizer done, you know, NL probably still needs to be a little careful there.
Yeah, but they're trying to bait Bjergsen here to go for an all-in. You can see Karsa is sitting in the bush down in this bottom lane. Maybe we're even moving. He was spotted by a ward, and that's also why Team Solomid knows that, okay, it might be a trap here. Santorin joining a lot of people suddenly in this bottom lane. You want to defend that last outer, and you want to see if you now can reverse the roles, and you're the one baiting the Yowie Flash Wolves into a bad fight.
Also, the Flash Wolves, who did such a good job of pinking up their own jungle defensively during that last game. We just don't see very many pink wards, only a single one on the map, and on the wrong side at this point. They need that safety to be able to push out and see if they can regain a little bit of control in this game if they still want to win. They are fighting from a very large deficit.
Yeah, and just a lot harder in this game for them to do it when Zed is in the middle, and he gets an early kill when you're against the Lee Sin as well. There's the 2-on-2 skirmish from Team Solomid is just fantastic. Lulu as well, if you have even Lost by joining in like he normally does when it comes to these deep wards. It makes it so much easier for Team Solomid to walk into the jungle of Yowie Flash Wolves, place their own wards here, and not really be too afraid of any potential fight starting. You're not going to be too scared of Karsa jumping in at this point here. Bjergsen will be able to just ult him and kill him.
That tower has been abandoned pretty much at now. I do see NL coming back towards it there, but I don't know. Those 3 champions that are pushing on, exactly the ones you want to really stick around underneath your own tower to try and defend. Sword Art is coming down, and Karsa is going to come running through on this one as well. What can they do? Is the warning sign that Rengar's getting close. He's going to get in the brush as well. Bjergsen is going to try and turn things around. A Wild Growth comes in. Lustboy might pay the price though, but in the end they managed to get away from it. Did have to use a couple of ultis to get the job done though.
You can see TSM disengaging immediately because it was a 5v4 there in the bot lane. Quick TPs from both of the top laners. Can they turn this one back around?
And they should be able to. Sword Art is already ridiculously low. That tower is still there, but they're not going to care too much for that. They go in underneath it, get themselves 2 kills. And the Flash Wolves looking disjointed, I think, to say the least.
Well, NL right there chose to sit around for an auto attack and a rocket, which in turn made sure that he got hit by the Ring of Frost from Lissandra. So he could have actually pulled back and maybe even defended the turret and sacrificed Sword Art instead, but then they both die and the turret goes down. Flash Wolves just not looking quite as crisp this game, but TSM coming back strong.
And just good play around the Rengar as well, because when Rengar comes in with the ulti, that's where you disengage, you make him blow that ulti first, and then they knew, okay, he's not going to offer anything in the fight, because the Rengar with no ulti, unless there's a bush he can keep jumping in and out of, will not do anything. And that's also why they could re-engage on. So just a nice setup. Zeal now for Neverlose, so he's close to the Trinity Fall.
That is so close.
But he's not there yet. So close.
That's something you almost never see.
I think you can wait for those couple of gold to tick over, right? Bjergsen actually getting stunned up here. There are 3 men on that top side of the map. That's a nice move to bring him out with the death mark further from that turret, and Maple will actually be able to get that kill. But I'm not sure that they can get the turret. Santorin coming up to that top side. Lustboy was already there as well. And that means that the Flash Wolves, for now at least, aren't going to get it, but Santorin going to get caught out there somewhat. Does manage to flash away from those chains, but that's almost certainly the tower now. And there is Karsa coming in. That's a great Wild Growth from Lustboy just to get the knock up and probably save Santorin.
There will be a tower at least up here in the top lane for Yowie Flash Wolves. Darius should be able to defend the mid lane fairly easily. But we just saw here how the 2 lanes in the bottom and the mid lane went a fairly stand-up one, just in the middle, no real pushes going on. And therefore they could go 4-man top, kill Bjergsen, who was standing, I wouldn't even say too far out. I mean, he was very close to the tower. He got surprised by 4 guys jumping him. So good little play here by the Flash Wolves, showing they're still in the game.
What I liked to do was Karsa's decision-making on Rengar, because you could see him toss the bola out at the shadow, just making sure that if Bjergsen stayed in the fight, he was going to die, and if he swapped back to his shadow, he would be immediately crowd-controlled. So, interesting stuff right there, and now we see Yowie. We'll see what happens with this next drag in 30 seconds.
Yeah, they got Trinity Force finally completed for Neverlose, but he's 0-3. Last game, he was the guy all the kills went to. He was the guy pushing the towers down. Big difference here for the Yowie Flash Wolves. Maple still doing an okay job here on this LeBlanc in the mid lane. Picked up a kill for himself. Still no Hourglass, so he is a potential target in a fight. And obviously, Lissandra and Lulu are 2 champions who does really well against LeBlanc in team fights. Because if she jumps in, you either W from Lissandra to freeze her, or you just wimps her with this Lulu here, and she won't really be able to jump around anymore.
Well, let's find out. That dragon is now live. A lot of ward clearing and replacing going down. And that death brush, I think you've pretty much exchanged 2 or 3 wards apiece on that front. TSM have 2 men on that dragon side. Ward down. Maple just waiting to make that jump over and see if he can catch either of these out. Wild Growth is available for Lustboy though, and that should be enough there to keep him alive.
If TSM want to set up a potential flank, they need to have a pink ward right up here around their own mid tower, where we saw that 1 ward from Yowie Flash Wolves and where Maple was waiting. You got a pink ward on that side, so Darius has an opening to come over the wall here with his own claw. It's a good setup by the Yowie Flash Wolves because they're just waiting for someone to come in. There's the pink ward from Team Solo Mid. Let's see if he can pop a target.
It was close.
Very close right there, but they did punch him out of this fight, and now there's no TP. So at the very least, they accomplished their goal of dragging this out. Ducey pings up the top side. There is a slow wave developing from TSM, and honestly, you know, it may be better for Yoey to have Steak go up in the top side. He has TP right now. See if he can put some pressure onto the top lane turret and start split pushing instead of just having him be in the dragon fight right now.
Yeah, it's not going to offer a whole lot down here. I think the main concern for them, though, is the potential hard engage of a LeBlanc, and they don't want Steak having to TP in first and then come in a bit too late to the fight, like we have seen before from Steak as well, in terms of, if you look at the last game or some of the games we saw yesterday, where TP sometimes comes down a little bit too late. I think that's why they're keeping him at least nearby. Now he's going to push this bottom lane. Dyrus is there, however, to stop it.
Yeah, still a huge wave developing in the top side, so TSM is going to force them off. And had Yoey, I think, been more decisive about using that top lane when it was so close to the tower with the TP advantage, they definitely could have made a bigger play here. TSM, their patience is paying off. And
I think they mistimed the teleport from Dyrus, because when he went back to base, there was an opening for Yoey Flash Wolves to rush down to that dragon here and force a 5 versus 4. But they probably expected Dyrus still to have teleport ready, even though it was on cooldown beforehand. And that's why they didn't go for it. It was a nice little setup, baiting out that ping to see, okay, you're going to clear this ward, we're going to try and chunk you with all the LeBlanc. That's how you want to play around ping wards in the mid game with these assassins.
Well, Maple got 2 recalls there. He got Dyrus's and he got Bjergsen, and they still didn't do anything. Now they're going to try and ult in. Are they going to make a play right here? They'd have to TP, but there's nothing really to make a play on.
They've gone late, and I'm not sure about this one. Dyrus goes low, but it's Carter that will surely drop first. There is Bjergsen diving into the back line as well. Meanwhile, Wild Turtle joins the party. Steak jumps onto him, but honestly, this is a messy one. Everyone going very, very low. Lustboy flashed over the side. Maple and Steak trying to chase him down, but the slow is going to be incredibly strong. There is Dyrus on top of Steak. It's Bjergsen that's fed the kill, and now Maple is trying to run away. They still need to be wary of the amount of burst that he can do. His ultimate is available for him as well, for that little extra. Well, they're going to come around the side. There's the claw coming out. Dyrus can't quite lock him up though, and Maple dancing around. He goes for Santorin, but once the slow comes in, that's the end of it. Bjergsen on a killing spree.
And look at Wild Turtle, he's going to get a tower in the mid lane as well. So instead of the Yoey Flash Wolves here going for that dragon when they were chunking TSM back to base, they allowed Team Solar Mid to start the dragon, place a pink ward as well, and just see 5 guys running from the mid lane down towards them to get the engage. You saw how Casa was just locked up instantly as the fight started, and that opened up for Team Solar Mid to simply clean it up.
Yeah, that I really feel that was given to TSM on a silver platter, because the Yoey Flash Wolves had so many options. They were in control mostly of that situation thanks to Maple's poking, but they didn't take advantage of it, and then that huge wave developed in the top side. And then on top of that, Yoey made a very bad decision, I think, to try and fight the dragon in the end right there. There's not really much you're going to get out of that at this stage in the game in a 5v5 with the amount of crowd control and the fact that TSM is like 5,000 gold ahead, or was, now is much more.
And when you are playing Rengar, or you're the team with the Rengar here, you can never fight around an objective that's already been set up so nicely by Team Solar Mid, because the ping boards will spot you unless you get a perfect flank, but you won't get that because you just showed yourself in the mid lane before and when you were pushing in as your team. So it's just a little bit too easy for Team Solar Mid to spot Casa. No, okay, now he's jumping in, run back first, then we crowd control him and kill him.
It's like NL going to get the blue buff. With Maple on the opposite side of the map, don't want that getting taken away. And Karsa just had to use the Rengar ultimate to escape a sticky situation up in the top side. You know, he's still trying to group up right here and make a play onto the mid lane turret, but a wave clear coming in. Maple splitting in the bottom side, and finally they will get their first turret of the game.
Yeah, 25.5 minutes in. That has certainly taken them a while, but in the meantime, we see Bjergsen. Santorin will join him here on that top inner turret, already down to half, and this is going to be gone before the Flash Wolves can get anywhere near it.
Yeah, just honestly, I think they just wanted to trade tower for tower to get some global gold, but Team Solar Mid were fast to react as well in time. But if you look at the warding from the Yoey Flash Wolves, everything is set up around the Baron. So it looks like they're the ones in the lead, and they're going to bait a Baron because they've got the wards around the pit itself, so they can look for these picks from Maple. But they're not going to get anywhere near this Baron, you know, for a long, long time. I mean, this is going to belong to Team Solar Mid. They're the ones almost 10,000 gold ahead here. And the ping ward is not going to do a whole lot, but trading tower for tower beforehand. Santorin and Bjergsen, they're just waiting for the poor Steak to show himself. Are you showing yourself Midlands? I guess they weren't waiting for anything.
They're waiting for nothing there, I'm afraid. And, well, they're going to go back to waiting, or at least pushing that lane out. That's a pretty scary duo. They definitely fed Zed at this stage. Plus Lee Sin as they try to lock down Lustboy, but he will just walk away from that one.
Asa popped his ult.
Yeah. I think they were trying to really follow up on that. There's a scrying orb actually used, but Santorin and Bjergsen are already miles away, and now they're pinging towards that middle turret. Cullen will probably come out here from Wild Turtle to keep that alive. Yep, there it is.
And the Euroflash Wolves have been completely shut down in terms of farming. I mean, they've been stuck on the same items for quite a while now because Team Solo Mid are controlling the side lanes either by slow pushing minions or just by using your Lissandra and Zed, who are so strong at this point, to go out and push it down. And that means for Euroflash Wolves, they'll always lose some farm, and Team Solo Mid is always the proactive team, except for this LeBlanc here, who's the one jumping around these pink wards all the time, trying to bait some summoners.
Yeah, but that's the best you can do. I mean, ideally,
sure,
here, you want to actually take somebody down. Maple actually gets Lissandra ulted. But afraid of the follow-up right there.
See how much
there was no follow-up. He used his ultimate 5 seconds before on Lustboy, but better safe than sorry, I suppose we can say, for Dyrus. However, they are still pushing this middle outer turret. Would be the second of the game for the Flash Wolves, but it's not exactly easy when you've got Lulu and Lucian there to get rid of those. That means that gold not quite 10,000 anymore thanks to that first turret from the Yoi Flash Wolves, but it's close enough. After 28 minutes, this one looking, I don't want to say in the bag for TSM because that's a great way to curse them, but very, very strong position, commanding position that they're in.
It would be pretty shocking if they lost the game at this point. The thing is, when you have two compositions who are very similarly mirrored to each other, and this is all about creating picks, bursting down an enemy champion. When there's this large of a gold lead, there's not really a great way for the Yoi Flash Wolves to strategically outplay their opponent because they have the same strengths. Yeah, it's just, I mean, they can't do enough damage at this stage, really. So they're in a situation where they will more than likely lose every skirmish. If they try and get a pick, they won't have the damage to kill somebody. So it makes it, I would say, very, very hard to come back.
And you're simply unable to chase for any kills because you know that the Lissandra can TP in, you know the Zed was just split pushing a lane, can easily walk up towards you. So if you ever over chase, like had they gone for the Centurion kill here, they would have been collapsed on from two different sides by Bjergsen and Dyrus, which would have cost them basically the game itself because they would have died in that team fight very easily. So good choice by not chasing. I like how Maple still plays around the LeBlanc here. He keeps looking for picks whenever he's baiting TSM to like clear ward or whatever. But he's not been able to get it. He doesn't have the damage for it. And I mean, again, one of the reasons is you have to go Hourglass in this case. You don't have like an early Void Staff maybe, which is a cheaper build that gives you a much earlier power spike, which will give you that extra damage as well to potentially get a few kills when he jumps in.
There's furious pinging there from the Flash Wolves onto the general area where TSM were. Saying, please don't go face checking around there. They were somewhere there. Smart play by the Flash Wolves to just completely stay away from that. However, Carsey looking for the recall will actually be pushed out of that one, and well, they've caught out LeBlanc in the mid lane. Not sure how they managed to lock that one down, but Dyrus moving in with his ultimate, locking him down long enough to finish that one off, and that now means another dragon for TSM, freebie basically.
I will say there was a bit of a risk to Bjergsen face-checking that bush with Whimsy, that had there been a more substantial number of Flash Wolves in that bush, that could have actually gone horribly wrong for them. So, a bit risky, but they pull off the gank all the same, and now they're on the offensive, third dragon of the game. And this should be, a methodical TSM closure. It's not going to be the fastest closure, though, because we don't have great siege compositions coming in to this one. So it may take quite some time. Both teams really do want to play around vision. That's the ideal scenario, is to get the drop onto somebody via vision games or play around a dragon or a baron, as opposed to actually concluding this game via siege. So more than likely how it's going to end is TSM will eventually contest enough objectives, find the picks they need, and then slowly take towers in 5v4 or 5v3 scenarios.
Blue buff given over to Maple. Top lane was just pushed out there by Dyrus. Maple will just try and get it pushing back in the other direction. We do finally have that Zhonya's done for Maple now, so he's probably going to be feeling a little more confident in terms of diving into those backlines, trying to catch someone out. QSS also picked up. Does that mean that Bjergsen's kind of running on a time limit here?
Well, it means at least you won't really be shutting him down anytime soon. Again, it's a very mid-game focused composition from the Yowie Flash Wolves with the Corki, with the Aurelia, obviously. I would love to see them right now place a ward just outside the Baron pit as well on one of the edges, which means if Team Soulmate puts a pink at Baron itself, it won't clear the one just outside. But for now, let's see if Stake can stay alive.
The answer, my friends, is no. There is the pop. Carter also taking damage, but they're going for Bjergsen again. A lovely last second wild growth will keep him alive, and he's managed to walk away on the top side. Dyrus also going in there with the Zhonya's. NL will dive into the backside of them though. But look at the culling to give the double kill to Wild Turtle, and that means a possible Baron here with almost the ace. Only Sword Art left alive, but to steal a Baron with that Janna is going to have to be very, very precise and probably lucky as well at the same time. Just trying to kill off Lust Boy, but Wild Turtle will turn around, gets himself the ace, and the Baron will go to TSM.
That's how you do it.
Basically.
Let's close out the game with the pick comp, and then move on and use that Baron buff to finally have some sort of sieging pressure right there. Yeah, let's take a look at this one again. Stake stunning Bjergsen, but does get the death mark on him. Even the Janna Monsoon isn't enough to heal him through that death mark. Karsa moves forward. Maple immediately exhausted. And Dyrus doing a good job holding his ult until he finds it on L. There's the QSS to get him out. But in the end, the cleanup is there in favor of TSM. Culling takes 2.
Love the flash. Pretty sick stuff from Turtle there. I like the whole setup from Team Soulmate as well, because you could see how the Flash Wolves expected a Baron bait to come in, so that's why they were staying around. They were warding all around the Baron itself with all 5 members, and that's where Team Soulmate just got the right fight for them. Wild Turtle now in this Lucian, it's been one of the strong picks in this semi-final, honestly. Never lose last game, and now Wild Turtle this one here to really start cleaning up fights. And we see as long as you get past that mid-game spike of the Corki, that's where you get quite a damage advantage on the Lucian in these later team fights.
I mean, it helps when you 6-0 too as well.
That's a bonus, Joe.
You've got 4 items, which obviously might be playing in his favor somewhat, but we're almost at a 15,000 gold lead at this point, and TSM, as you said, maybe not going to be the fastest closeout ever, but they shouldn't have too many problems in doing so.
Yeah, and that's the point that you really want to hammer home right here, is that a lot of people would, you know, if you're not really thinking about the team compositions, you might hammer on TSM a little bit for being slow to close out this game. But this is realistically the fastest they can safely close it out. They needed a fight like that in order to take it home, or you just count on the fact that the Dragon is going to be stacking slowly over the course of the game. But that's the safe way to do it.
Flash Wolves setting up a small trap here, hoping for TSM to move through the jungle. They're just running forward, and there's no TP for Dyrus, so he has to join the team itself. Still making it tough for Team Soulmate to push it in. We'll be able to get these pink wards here, but you really still gotta respect the burst damage from Yowie Flash Wolves' composition here. If one guy gets caught out overextending, he's gonna die, and that sadly delays the game even longer then, and makes it even harder for Team Soulmate then to close it out. So you gotta stay together now until there's a teleport ready for Dyrus.
Janna shields being somewhat annoying for TSM here as well, making those turrets take a few more hits, but basically brute force to move through at this stage. There's another culling going to come out from Wild Turtle, and well, doing good chunks of damage on its way through as well. A couple of them fall into just less than half HP. That will mean that TSM now can just push around onto that mid wave, which is starting to work in their favor as well, and work on the first inhib turret possibly of this game.
Just put a Dyrus top lane now to push his wave out and just start slow pushing, because you're going back to base anyway, so it's the perfect time just to kill the caster minions, leave the melee minions alive, because they take quite a while to kill, doesn't do the same amount of damage, and that builds up your wave really, really easily. And then you just can go 5 mid lane again, wait for that wave to stack up, and then you send Dyrus to that top lane. We can see the Flash Wolves were expecting this, and that's why they're sending 3 guys up, looking for Dyrus. And they're gonna find him.
Yep, Dyra's gonna ult himself here. Maple, actually his clone getting low, but he was fine, he jumped away, and that's a nice little catch for the Flash Wolves.
They predicted everything right there. There was no ward to spot him. They just knew, okay, he's moving from the top lane down, okay, he must be around here. Jump over this Baron pit, and they got a very nice kill. So they looked at that wave top lane and said, we know you're gonna slow push it. We're gonna go kill you for it. And that does buy some time, and they can also push their wave back now from them.
Yeah, but that also comes with the price of yet another dragon for TSM, so now...
Could you have gotten it though? It's a risky one.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you walk out, if you walk out to that dragon anyway, you kind of just give Team Solomid the fight they want to get an ace and just walk down. So I guess tricky one.
Well, I think
bought themselves 5 minutes to fish here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a risky play of dragon might be in everyone's benefit at this stage, depending on how that one goes, but TSM up to 4 dragons, so the one of the Yowie Flash Wolves, which was the very first one of the game, funnily enough.
What's interesting is the pick composition and what we saw a lot during Season 3, back when the Oracles was still around. It made it a lot easier to close these kind of games because the Vision Wars were it was a much simpler time, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. It was lovely being a support back then, unless you played against these assassins who just one-shot you every time you try to clear ward.
Oh.
With your Oracle. Anyway, Kase. He wants a piece of turtle. Won't get it.
No, not going to get anything. Throws the baller out there. I seem to remember you buying oracles and dying straight away after, and buying another oracles and then...
Again, that's called baiting and setting it up for your mid laner.
But then they made him persistent just for you, so that's
great,
good as well.
But die even more. I didn't even have to care about it.
Oh, there's Maple diving in, but Bjergsen just sidestepping the chains, and well, the Flash Wolves trying their best to hold on to something here. But look at the damage onto NL. They finally bring Bjergsen and Santorin close enough where they can deal some damage back, but TSM getting the better of that one. They force Corki to get back to base to heal. That turret down at half HP. Wild Turtle actually pretty deep in there, but he just simply dashes away. And he's able to get out with without taking any damage at all.
Just too many shields. BT shield, Lulu shield right now. There's just isn't that same amount of damage, so it's a rough situation. But even so, we're still waiting 1 minute till that Baron comes up again, and maybe TSM can make a harder push on these turrets, and they're going in, and there goes Dyrus, actually.
Might have wanted to use his Zhonya's there.
Oh, yeah. Probably would have been a good call. So this game is just getting delayed, and as much as we've talked about TSM's lead, this game goes to 50 minutes, and that's when Yowie, if they can do something like that and clean up a team fight, they can instantly win this game. So the fact that this has been delayed, the closure of this game has been delayed, and Baron is up in 27 seconds. At least Dyrus has TP, so that he can make it there in time, and they can force a fight, but...
And he saved his Zhonya's in case that happens.
He's thinking ahead, always.
Exactly. His ulti will be back up there, so 2 chances to not die. We'll see about that one. Actually, the Flash Wolves have put a decent amount of wards on that top side, so you are going to have vision of the Baron. Santorin just saw one being put down. Let's see what they do. 1 inside the pit, 1 outside the pit. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Now you need 2 pink wards or a sweeper to clear them, and sometimes teams forget it and just put that pink ward in the Baron pit and think that's enough, and they found it.
And sometimes teams have 3 sweeping lenses.
Yeah, they
like 3 oracles.
That's another thing. I'm just saying, you never know. You never know. It's your best bet spotting that Baron and find an opening at least.
Yeah, TSM showing the value of triple oracles, though.
The other thing to note here, 39-32 was the time of that last game, which means that even if they do lose here, the Yowie Flash Wolves, they get side choice next game. Because that's how the third map choice is decided on time, I'm being told. I didn't actually know that was the truth, but that's good to know. We'll see. It means that Flash Wolves can say blue side or red side. We'll see. Red side is where they won that first game. We'll see, though. This one might not be over just yet.
Yeah, I think that maybe they'll try their hand at blue side again and not first pick Corki this next game.
I reckon Zed might be a decent pick.
It would have been the obvious one, at least. And also, I don't think they mind giving Lissandra and so on to Dyrus again. If you can force the Maokai ban, we have seen with both top laners, Maokai has been really the big deal. So yeah, I would assume the Flash Wolves to take blue side. Let's see what Bjergsen can do here. We'll find Mabel. They're baiting around this Baron from Team Solo Mid. They know there's no wards inside. They got the pink outside as well. You got the speed up. It's a perfect setup. As long as you make the right call as a team, do you disengage or do you finish the Baron? This is where it sometimes goes wrong. They just finish it because Yowie Flash Wolves didn't move in time. Stake just teleported from the bottom lane.
Also just a huge amount of damage on TSM as well, so very rapid Baron. Their ping's going down in the mid lane. Of course, that mid lane turret. Flash Wolves in this entire match have only taken a single tower. You know, honestly, it's actually kind of amazing they've managed to stick in this game as long as they have.
I mean, Mabel has been getting a few picks here and there. They caught up with Dyrus. They're going in as well.
Wow, Karsa right into the middle. Lustboy forced to use the wild growth on himself. Is that a chance here for the Flash Wolves? Bjergsen gonna take out Karsa, and that means now 5 versus 4. Lustboy a little bit low though. And if my sensors tell me correctly, I think we might be seeing recalls here. They are sat on decent amounts of gold, so makes sense. And a 5th dragon would be coming their way in 20 seconds.
No reason to risk anything when you lost the first game here. So now for Team Soulmate, they should play it safe. Let's see Dyrus. Forced to flash, she might be caught out anyway.
Yeah, slow there from Sword Art. Will take the claw, but that's slowed for days. There is Maple.
They can go dragon now.
Later.
Oh, no, kind of. Sorry, Team Soulmate is already there. Yowie Flash Wolves, if they can come down and stop this dragon, they got 4 members there, full HP still.
There's no damage on that dragon yet. Neither Turtle
gotta rush it. Gotta rush down.
They can actually they will be able to potentially intercept this.
They have no smite though, so they won't be able to steal it. Nope. Team Soulmate got it. 4 dragons for them.
5,
sorry. 5 dragons for them. We've talked about it so many times. 1 dragon though for Yowie Flash Wolves. So they got that 6% AP and AD, which is important in the late game.
Okay. All the buffs for TSM. Is this the moment of truth, Deficio? Can they now close this game?
Well, they're gonna need it.
Red buff's up, so
yeah,
they should probably get that first. And they're actually gonna lose the turret here. And it's the second one only of the game for the Yowie Flash Wolves. But I'm not sure how hopeful I am of a comeback or what would have to be just a massive mistake at this stage from TSM.
Well, you know, Cloud9's already set a precedent this tournament, so...
That's true. I'm glad you were the one to say that, not me.
Yeah, as Europeans, we can't really say too much.
Yeah, can't get drawn into that NA flame, man. Bjergsen there did get away, and he's actually pinging onto Maple in the middle lane. Not able to quite catch him, though.
All right, so the top lane tower is really low. Let me just check here on my screen. It's currently sitting on 600 HP. That's a very, very easy push when you have the cannon as well. You got the Baron, you got the 5 dragons. Like, this is about as strong as you will ever get in this game. So that one should go down. Even a pink ward to spot Castle if he engages. So TSM are now in the base. Inhibitor open as well. That's the first thing they need. Superman is coming down. Bot lane should be the next target.
Well, Sword Art nearly died there. That might have just been the kill that they needed. Maple actually diving through, and that will surely be the kill they need. Wild Turtle does go low, but he does have that Bloodthirster to heal himself back up. Could be a little bit dangerous, though, for TSM. Something tells me that risks aren't what they're going to be taking to finish out this game. Actually, Turtle did back away, get himself a red buff, and we'll use that to heal all the way back up to full as well.
Yeah, Lustboy with a fast Whimsy right there in order to secure that kill, and now they're just going to push on forward through the tower.
Well, it's going to be in towards NL, who is going to get popped there by that death mark. Of course he is. We're 45 minutes into this one. Bjergsen at full build. But Dyrus and Bjergsen both a little bit low. What are we going to do with this one? Wild Turtle will latch on to Karsa first of all. But these Nexus turrets finally will get focused down. The first one will fall here just a second. Wild Turtle actually having the wild growth put onto him by Lustboy. But I think this one is over here. There's the dive in towards Sword Art from Bjergsen. The rest of TSM saying, no guys, don't go for the kills. Let's finish off this game. Nexus falls. We're going to game number 3 as TSM pick up the second one.
Solid performance, and TSM changing up their tactic and going for that same skirmish style as the Yowie Flash Wolves and beating them at their own game early. I still think it's a pretty dangerous play style because both of these teams have shown that they can pretty well dominate when they get ahead.